Oh, that's great. For anticipation. All right, we've got 6 o'clock, so at 6 o'clock, I call this meeting of the Saginaw City Council to order. Please rise for the pledges.
The United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor
the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. Please be seated. Item 1C is the invocation. I do not see a reverend in the audience. Is there anyone on the dais or in the audience who feels so moved and would like to give the invocation? It could be anybody. All right, then I'll do it. Please bow your head. Dear Lord, thank you for bringing us here today. Thank you for this wonderful town that we call home. We're happy to be here. Thank you for some rain we're about to get. We appreciate that as well. We look forward to you keeping us safe. We appreciate everything you've done for us. We appreciate this town and all the folks that helped make it happen. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Audience participation 1D. You can you can speak on any item that's on the agenda. If you fill out one of these forms, it's over there by the police chief. I already have one, and I'll others. I will call those at the appropriate time. Consent agenda. 2 action regarding minutes from May 12th, 2B action regarding pump and valve maintenance system for Longhorn, 2C action regarding proposal for services with digital resource to provide audiovisual systems for the new library, 2D action regarding individual project order with Kimley Horn Associates for a 57-year community development block grant on Cambridge, 2E action regarding authorizing the use of additional park donation fund for Independence Day celebration. Questions, comments on the consent agenda? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, I make a motion we approve the consent agenda as read.
Have a second? Valerie, second? Motion passes. Let the record reflect we do have a quorum. Councilmember St. Clair is out of town. Moving on to 3A, recognition and presentations. Gabe, what do we have?
Mayor, a couple departments with recognitions tonight. I want to note that today's the first day of the swim season, Summer Aquatic Center. So I was out there earlier this afternoon. There was about 130 people had come out. If you haven't been by, I encourage everyone to go out. There's been a lot of maintenance work. Slides are looking like $1 million. We have a good group of staff this year, lifeguards and customer service folks, and then our day camp counselor program is buzzing. So if you get a chance, go over there, have fun at the pool, check out day camp, and we're looking forward to a fun and safe summer. So I think PD or Public Works first. No, you're good. Oh, speaking of Aquatic
Hey,
Center,
Vicky.
can I put you on the spot? You have a opening day update?
We're in lightning delay, we closed early.
Okay, lightning delay, closed
There you
early.
go.
Hold that thought, go tomorrow. Yeah, with that, any preference, police or? Yeah. Police department.
Y'all can ask the attorney. He's here. He can come in. Come on, Brent.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. One of the greatest honors any chief has is to recognize their employees. Today, we get to recognize 2 outstanding employees for their dedication, professionalism, and commitment that have earned them well-deserved promotions. Promotions represent more than just a change in title. They reflect trust, achievements, confidence that our organization places in them, and not everyone that serves in public safety is able to promote to a formal leader. But thankfully, some do answer the call and take on the greater responsibilities, leadership roles, and the rewards and challenges that come with it. The promotional process in the police department is challenging. It consists of several tasks, including a written test in both policy and laws, oral interviews, and presentations on an assigned topic that normally I get to pick. The first recognition tonight is going to be for sergeant. So the patrol sergeant is the first line supervisor in the field. They supervise officers engaged in the enforcement activities, including providing services and protection of property in the general public. The patrol sergeant ensures that adequate staffing is present on shift, that policies and laws are adhered to, and serves as the face of the organization on a daily basis. They provide guidance and successful resolution to police calls for service, and at times are the highest-ranking individuals on duty. I'm proud to introduce Clayton Cadets. If you'll step up. So Clayton's been with the Saginaw Police Department for more than 6 years. He promoted to corporal in 2024, promoted to sergeant in April of this year. He's been a field training officer, a back officer, and recently completed the 120-hour ALEA School of Police Supervision. Clayton also holds an intermediate TCOL certificate. With Clayton is his wife, Destiny. I'll have you step up in just a minute. We're also going to recognize a corporal tonight. So the corporal, during routine daily activities, works as a district officer, taking calls and conducting investigations. However, in the absence of the sergeant, the corporal fulfills those duties. The corporal is mentored by the sergeant, earning the full duties, and when necessary, can step into that role without hesitation. And with that, I'm proud to introduce Corporal Joseph Barber. If you'll step up as well. So Joseph Barber has been with the Saginaw Police Department for more than 3 years. He's been a police officer for more than 5. He's been a member of the department SWAT team and is also a member of the U.S. Army Reserves, holding the rank of E7. With Joseph is his wife, Donna. So if I could have the wives step forward. So you've heard me say before, I think that the support of one's family is invaluable in our profession. So our profession brings daily stress, and many situations can be exceptionally challenging and even dangerous. The encouragement, understanding, and strength provided by family and friends help officers navigate these difficulties, maintain their well-being, and continue to succeed both personally and professionally. Without this support system, overcoming the demands of the job and sustaining long-term wellness would be far more difficult. So with that being said, we're going to conduct our oath of office. So gentlemen, if you'll both raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of Peace Officer for the state of Texas. And I will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state. So help me God. Destiny and Donna, y'all may pin the badges on your loved ones. Both wives have actually been offered funds to stick the needle deep into the chest of the officer, and they have refused to actually take me up on that. So. So gentlemen, with that, it's a great honor to present to the council and members of this city, Sergeant Clayton Cadets and Corporal Joseph Barber. Congratulations, gentlemen. You want to get them together as a picture real quick? And Clayton's dad's here real quick, if we can get him up for a photo as well. Mr. Mayor and Council, thank you all for the opportunity to recognize our employees. We appreciate it.
right, next up, our public work friends. Ronnie?
Mayor, council, it's good to be here. Ronnie Martinez, wastewater superintendent. Tonight, we want to recognize a couple of employees that we had recently come to us. Bryce Going is one of them. Bryce, if you would make your way forward, please. So Bryce comes to us from Grand Prairie. He specializes in the water quality field. He's already made some contributions here, and we look forward to seeing him continue to grow with the city of Saginaw. Next up, we have Leo Ratana. Leo, if you would, make your way up. So Leo comes to us from the private side, and he has already also contributed to the team, and we also look forward to seeing him grow in his career with us. Thank you guys. Appreciate y'all. So next, I want to recognize two employees. In Public Works, we have an award that's called the 212 Award. Some of you are familiar with it, but for those who are not, this stems from, we believe that water is hot at 211 degrees. At 212 degrees, it begins to boil. With that boiling water comes steam, and with steam, you can power an engine. So these two gentlemen that I want to recognize tonight, one of them has 20 years in January with the city of Saginaw and is a true pillar to our department. Our newer guys consistently look to him for direction, and his experience has been very valuable to our team. Cutler, if you would come up. Thank you. Thank you. The next gentleman that I want to recognize, he has been since day one an asset to our team. His communication skills, his documentation skills has been on point since day one. It's just such an asset to our team. The next guy is Wes Orton, and he has 4 years this month with the city of Saginaw. I have one more thing to add to Wes is I sent him to a class in, I believe it was 2024. He came back with some knowledge and put some equipment that was deemed as trash. They were basically telling us you got to take it out of your system. He came back with some knowledge, reactivated this equipment, 120 locations, I believe, to be exact, and it saved the city $19,200. So he had to revisit all these locations and reactivate and reinstall. So we appreciate that, Wes. Thank you.
Thank you, Ronnie. Appreciate it. Congratulations to everybody involved. Any other things? All right. Moving on to 3B, 2026-2027 Budget Workshop. Kim Quinn, Finance Director.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor and City Council. This is just a review. This is our first workshop, so I just want to remind y'all of some of the budget concepts, talk a little bit briefly about the tax rate. I'll go through it pretty fast. If you've got questions, feel free. And I've talked with many of you individually too, so if you want a little bit more one-on-one, happy to talk with you about that. But this is just the first of many workshops. This is just, again, just a general overview. Just to remind y'all, we talk about adopting the budget, but really we adopt and talk about 13 different budgets. Those are 13 different funds, and the reason that we have these different funds is because we account for specific revenue sources separately. We do that because we have to follow generally accepted accounting principles, and also because we want to be able to prove that certain revenue sources are spent in accordance with the law, and the way we do that is to group them by funds. So that's kind of the bottom line of why we do what we do and why we have actually 13 different budgets when we actually adopt the budget. This is just a graphic of our current year revised budget. We have just under $85 million in budgeted expenditures. You can see the majority of that, about 44%, is the general fund and debt service. We talk a lot about that because those are property tax funded, all or in part. The other large fund is the enterprise fund. That's where we account for our water and wastewater operations. And then the capital projects fund. We have a lot of capital projects going on right now, and that's about 21% of the total budget. We talk a lot about a balanced budget. Again, we want to make sure that our funding sources are adequate for the funding uses. We want to make sure our revenues can cover the expenditures. But not only do we want a budget of a balanced budget, but we want a structurally balanced budget. And we've talked about this many times as well. We want to make sure that our ongoing expenses are covered by our ongoing revenues. We don't want to be spending one-time revenues on ongoing expenditures because eventually that funding source will run out. So that's what we mean by when we say a structurally balanced budget. The revenue on the tax side, or the tax levy, is calculated by the base times the tax rate, right? We have nothing to do with the base or the appraised value, the property values. That's totally the responsibility of Tarrant Appraisal District, and we're totally at their mercy as far as what we use for the assessed values, the taxable values. The piece that we are responsible for, or you as a group are responsible for, is the tax rate, and that's how we come up with the tax levy. And as we've talked about in the past, the tax rate is actually comprised of two different parts. There's the maintenance and operations. That's the portion that goes to fund the general fund. The general fund is where we have a lot of the city services that people consider city services, right? It's police, fire, the library, the rec center, administration, all of those things, municipal court, are the general fund and paid for by the maintenance and operations portion of the tax rate. And then we have the INS, or interest and sinking portion of the tax rate. That goes to the debt service fund. When we issue debt, when we sell bonds, which we're going to talk about here in a minute, we're borrowing money, and just like when we borrow money in our personal lives, we have to pay back principal and interest, and that is paid for out of the debt service fund, that portion of the tax rate. And the graph just shows you the percentage of the tax rate that goes to maintenance and operations versus the debt service. We're currently at 58 to 42, and that's our current tax rate, just under 53 cents. This is a graph that everybody likes to see. I put it here just to remind us that when your constituents or our citizens talk to us about their tax rate, the city is only responsible for about 31% of their total tax bill. The school district, they pay for the Tarrant County, the hospital district, and the college district makes up their total tax bill, but our portion of it is only about 31%. A few years ago, the city council increased the senior exemption to $100,000. That's one of the highest in the county. I think there's only one city that's higher than us, Flower Mound, I think. And this slide is just to show you an example of how that exemption is applied. So the appraised value that is determined by Tarrant Appraisal District, and then we subtract the exemption amount, and that's what their taxable value is. So A senior that has an appraised value of $200,000, we subtract $100,000 from that, and they're taxed on the $100,000. We also grant daycare exemptions. I think there's 5 in the city that qualify for that. Disabled person exemption, that's $30,000, and then the over 65 is $100,000. We're going to start doing tax rate calculations, and I'm going to just go over the terminology just to refresh y'all's memory. These 4 tax rates we are required to calculate. They're presented to the City Council. You will be presented the proposed tax rate that you vote on. That proposed tax rate is then, we comply with the truth and taxation laws, so we'll advertise it in the paper, we'll advertise it on our website, we'll advertise it on the Tarrant County website and the Tarrant Appraisal District website. And we will have required hearings. We usually have at least 2 public hearings. In the past, we've had more than that. We've had 2 to 3 on the budget and at least 2 on the tax rate. And then we'll talk about each tax rates here in the next few slides. The no new revenue tax rate is kind of the starting point of all of the tax rate calculations. And what it is a way to show people what is the tax rate if we did nothing else, if we added nothing to, if we provided the same service at the same cost as the previous year. And what that does is it takes, it calculates the tax rate and tells you what the tax rate would be if you have the same properties at the current value. So just like I talked about before, the tax revenue is the base times the rate. If you're trying to keep the tax revenue the same and the values are going up, to get that same amount, the rate would go down, and vice versa. It's an inverse relationship, right? If your values are going up, your rate would go down. If it's the opposite and the values are going down, your rate would go up just to get the same amount of tax revenue. So just looking at the tax rate, you can't tell if it's necessarily an increase or a decrease. The rate may be increasing or decreasing, but it may not be called a tax rate increase unless it's actually going over the no new revenue tax rate. And again, I want to mention, when we calculate these rates, it's for the value in total. Say we approved the no new revenue tax rate. If your property happened to increase at a higher value than average, you still could have a higher tax bill, right? Because we're calculating the rates on the average, on the total value, and not each person's individual value of their property. The voter approval tax rate uses the maintenance and operation portion of the no new revenue tax rate and gives you a 3.5% increase over the current value, and then it adds on whatever your debt service requirements are. And that's how we come up with the voter approval tax rate. Any rate over the voter approved tax rate could trigger an automatic election on the uniform election date, with a few exceptions. And one of those exceptions is the de minimis tax rate. Because our population is under 30,000, we calculate the de minimis tax rate each year. And the de minimis tax rate is the rate that is the no new revenue tax rate on the M&O side, plus whatever would generate an additional $500,000 in tax revenue. And then you can add on to that the amount required for your debt service. This is the rate that we usually use as far as our planning goes. And the reason that we do that, because the caveat with the de minimis tax rate is that you have to use the accelerated time schedule. So instead of adopting the tax rate before the beginning of the fiscal year, so you could do it in possibly the last meeting in September, this has to be approved mid-August, and so that's what we usually base our timeline on, to give you the flexibility of contemplating the de minimis tax rate. There's also the unused incremental rate that can adjust the voter approval tax rate, and that is if any given year you don't adopt a rate up to the voter approval rate, that you can save any portion of that for 3 years and add it to your tax rate for the following year. We currently have no unused incremental tax rate, so that won't apply to us this year. This is just a very summarized version of how we calculate the tax rate. Our tax rate is complicated a little bit because we have a 1/2 cent of sales tax to lower the property tax rate, right? So instead of having the standard 1 cent that goes to our general fund, we have 1.5 cents that goes to the general fund. So that factors into our tax rate calculation. Is not as simple and as clean as this, but this just gives you an idea of how it's calculated, and I just wanted to remind you of these as we start budget discussions. And then my final slide is just, and I know y'all were provided with a budget calendar a month or so ago, but this is to just remind you of the next couple of meetings. We'll start having budget workshops and go fund by fund. We'll also have a CIP update in July for the capital projects. We have a budget retreat scheduled for y'all on a Saturday. It tells us we'll receive our certified values from TAD on the 24th. Our preliminary proposed budget, in order to meet our timeline, is going to be presented on July 10th or submitted to the secretary on July 10th. And then when we get our certified values, we'll revise the proposed budget. We have a few special meetings in there to go over tax rates and to actually adopt our budget to meet those guidelines. So I'm happy to answer any questions. As I said, we'll be talking about this in a lot more detail going forward, and I'm always available if y'all have specific questions to go over with y'all.
Any questions for Kim? Oh, great summary. Appreciate you bringing us back to speed. We have not discussed this in a while. More to come on budget. This is not the first time we will talk. We will talk about it many more times in the future. So thank you, Kim. Appreciate your work, hard work you and your team do. All right, so we're getting information for 4A, consideration and action regarding a specific use permit to allow an auto service station light maintenance at 105 West Lemon, 213 North Saginaw, 215 North Saginaw. And it will be Susie Victor Trevino, Assistant Director of Economic Community Engagement, as soon as she finishes handing out. Thank you, Susie.
Sorry, I wanted to be a little quicker, so I have shorter legs. So, Mr. Mayor and Council, this item before y'all was tabled at the last City Council meeting, and as a refresher, it is a specific use permit to allow an auto service station at 105 West Lemon Street, 213 and 215 North Saginaw Boulevard. That property, or those properties, are located on community commercial zoning districts, as well as the Saginaw Overlay District. From the sounds of the last meeting, it seemed that there was some concerns that the property was on the Overlay District, just in regards to different things when it came to parking, aesthetics, and a variety of other things. So I have come up with a couple of different regulations per y'all's request to add to the SCP language, and staff has worked diligently with the applicant since the last meeting, and they have updated their proposal. And so once I am done with just going over these stipulations or regulations, they will come up and present that. Just keep in mind that this is just something that we've drafted. If y'all want to make any changes, we can go ahead and do so. And this isn't the final version. We still have to get this okayed by attorney afterwards, but as long as y'all vote on the overall intent of it, then we can go from there. Okay? So with that, I'm going to go ahead and discuss the list. So the first regulation we have proposed is no outdoor storage shall be permitted in any location visible from public right-of-way or public areas. Next is all outdoor storage containers, receptacles, dumpsters, and similar storage facilities shall be located within the rear yard of the property and shall be painted a color that is compatible with the principal structure. And that's something that the applicant proposed, that they would be able to paint that to be just white or something that's compatible with the structure. All fencing shall be opaque, and that just prevents anything being visible from the outside street. Right now, that side is metal, so when we spoke to the applicant, they're going to keep it metal, but they're just going to update it so that it's a little nicer. The next one is that automotive services shall not include fluid-related services. And this was something that the applicant was willing to commit to. They were really strong on that stance that they're not going to have anything related to that, except for radiator repair and replacement, transmission repair and replacement, and routine oil change services.
I got a question.
Yes, sir?
What other kind of fluids are they, other than brake fluid and windshield wiper fluid?
I'm not a mechanic myself, so. Yeah. So once the applicant comes in, we can have him
Well,
answer.
I thought that, this is theirs. Okay,
Yes,
gotcha.
yes. If y'all are okay with that in that way.
Yeah, that's fine. We can talk to the applicant about
Okay.
that question.
So next is all work shall be conducted within an enclosed service bay or within the designated rear yard area of the property. Again, that's something that the applicant themselves suggested, so we put that in there. No vehicle repair work shall be performed within required parking areas, drive aisles, or other portions of the site, except for temporary loading or towing operations, because they do have those rare exceptions where they have to tow something out, and so they just wanted to add that on there as well. The exterior paint colors of the building and associated facilities, including fencing, shall be consistent with the color palette shown in Exhibit A, and they will be showing you that presentation, so y'all will have Exhibit A. Next is exterior lighting fixtures of the building and associated facilities shall be consistent with those depicted in Exhibit A, and lastly, the design, appearance, and placement of all business logos, signage shall be consistent with the renderings depicted in Exhibits A and B. With that, I'm going to ask if you'll have any questions, and if not, they will present their new proposal to y'all, and when Exhibit A and B are there, I will let y'all know which ones we're referring to.
All right, any questions for Susie? Thank you,
Okay.
ma'am.
How are y'all doing?
Welcome.
Chris Wagner with Ham's Tire from Watauga. First, the paper she was reading, the fluids, the transmission, the engine. Actually, I don't need any of that. We can mark that off the list. That's
I
about
was
all
just
the
wondering.
fluid. Yeah. No, you're completely correct. No, I probably didn't convey that correctly. I don't do transmissions. I don't do engines. I don't do any of that. No, you're fine. You're fine. Where was that? Yeah, transmission repair and replacement. We don't do any of that. I don't need that. Mark it off.
Radiator, is that yes or no?
No,
Ra-
I don't,
radiator
need, I
either?
don't
Okay.
need radiator. No,
Okay,
none of that. No, sir.
thank you.
Yes, I just wanted to touch on that. Everything else is, yeah, absolutely. And if there's anything you guys want to add, just let me know. We'll, I'm very malleable, for sure.
Okay.
I'd like to go through the, oh, is this my clicker? The slideshow, so. That works, yeah. So we have the current state, how it looks right now. The previous proposal, where it was all blue, it wasn't really broken up. You guys were wanting some masonry, and honestly, the new proposal, where I put some chopstone brick in between the bay doors, it does make it look night and day different, for sure. That's a fantastic idea. I put a black awning above it too, just to break it up a little more. I actually met an officer in the parking lot. He was watching traffic on the boulevard, and I was talking to him about what I was trying to do and what I'm trying to work with, what I need to change, my ideas at least. And he said, well, why don't you just change it to Boswell blue? Everyone here likes Boswell blue. And I looked it up, and I'm like, oh, for sure, it's a no-brainer. And then when I was actually reviewing the video, I think it was maybe you had mentioned, oh, it's kind of close to a Boswell blue. No-brainer, absolutely. So that's where we're proposing now. We broke up the blue with some masonry, which is one of the ideas you guys had, which once again looks great. Reduced the size of the pig and the letters, made it a little more professional for sure, a lot smaller. And then just adding a little bit of landscaping by the building as well. And there's more landscaping, of course, as per the ordinance that I'll show you, but there's it just a little bit bigger for you to see. It is AI, so it's not, the pig's a little messed up and the details are a little weird, but that's going to be our goal. That's going to be what we're aiming for.
We get the idea. That's good.
Yeah.
Good representation.
The overall site plan, there's the current state up at the top left. Pretty confusing. The previous proposal that I had 2 weeks ago was a little less confusing, but still kind of confusing. And I sat at home thinking about it, and traffic flow and how we think we're going to run operations, and it only halfway made sense to me, to be honest. I was trying to make it. What'd you say? It's putting lipstick on a pig. It's what I was doing. So this way, with this new proposal that I have, will be AI just kind of attached to those buildings at the top left. I could put a carport there, but that's not the part I want to focus on. I'm going to be demoing the main bay that we were going to be keeping, the standalone bay, once closest to the road. Just demoing that and making that a parking lot. It'll give me ample parking, which takes care of that problem that I was having. It fixes the traffic flow because I no longer have to serpentine around a building left or right, which was going to be awkward. We were going to make it work, but it was going to be awkward. So this leaves us an open parking area. It allows us to, it's just cut and dry. You grab the keys, you go grab a car, pull it into a bay, boom. The horizontal building towards the top of the picture here, I'll go over one. You can see I put little black dots. Those are to indicate bay doors. We'll be extending that building out just a little bit. Another comment was, it was in the letter, that he didn't think that the building was really set up for the amount of work that we'll be doing, which that's fair. Extending that and putting all those bay doors and moving all our tires into those bays, that'll take care of that problem. We'll have ample room to be able to work. Also, I'll notate the landscaping. I have the parking spaces cut into the landscaping right there in front of the office space. If that's not, I saw that on I was going up and down the boulevard looking at places. If that's not allowed, then I can just take those parking spaces out. We'll have plenty in the parking lot, and I made sure to put some up on the office for like handicap parking and a couple extras just to be a little closer to the office. But employee parking up top. In the back, that is that white line going around. That's representing the fence and the fence line, which will be like an 8-foot solid metal fence. I indicated where the gate would be to be able to get to the back. Employee parking back there. We would have an entrance on Lemon Street, but our main entrance would be Saginaw Boulevard. There's a little tiny rectangle in that landscaping. That's going to be our monument sign that we'll be putting up, which I have. Oh, well, here's the landscaping, just showing the lack of landscaping right now, and then the kind of landscaping I think I'd want to put in, just some mulch and some smaller shrubs or long grass, rocks. If there's anybody has an opinion, I'll definitely take that. The signage, we've got the outdated pole signs, which are no longer allowed. So we'll be going to a monument sign. That one was actually, it might have been, that's either it or it's something very close to what the P&Z ladies offered me as just renderings. I actually have two options I really like, but let you guys vote on which ones you like if you let me, and I don't care. I like them both. I like the one on the right's a little more industrial, the one on the left's a little more professional, but I like them both. So that's going to be about what the signage looks like. It'll be right there in the middle of the landscaping.
What the dimensions of that is?
I do not, and it's just a rendering.
Right, I
So
understand.
whatever the dimensions need to be, that'll be
I'm
what
just,
they.
I'm curious as to what size that would be. I'm asking you, I don't have an opinion, I'm just
In
asking.
my head, that's a 5-foot sign.
Okay.
5 foot tall.
that's
That was in my head.
Okay.
But yeah, of course, if the ordinance says, I didn't see anything about it, but if it says it needs to be 4 foot by 3 foot, and that's what we're doing. This is just a view of that front office on the left side, the bottom of that L. And then the bay doors, that's how it'll look. It'll be consistent with the aesthetic that we made for the front office. With that chopped stone brick, just to break it up and make it look nice, lighting on it, just to add a little touch to it. We went with black bay doors just to make it look a little more clean, smooth, easier on the eyes, but that is all of the renderings I've got. That's her. I do have, we had a couple notes that we had, when I had a little meeting with Louisa and Susie, of the things I need to work on, and it was, of course, the building face, the landscaping, the fence, the parking, flow of traffic, signage, and outside storage, of course, everything. We won't have, wheel racks out front, tire racks out front, anything like that. Oh, I would like to notate, I meant to put an actual see-through site plan in that building, but we'll be running tires on that horizontal portion where the bay doors are. Alignment will be, at the top left, you can see I've notated where a couple of the bay doors are in the back of the building. That's where our alignment bay will be. And everything south of that, towards the office, is going to be where we keep our inventory and storage. It's a very big shop that we were going to run tires initially. But it's just 3 bays that goes all the way through that building. It was going to be a little weird having, 2 or 3 cars in there getting queued up and worked on, and maybe the guy in the middle gets, he has to wait an extra 20 minutes. It was going to suck. It was. So now it's just storage right by the office where we can have, I put a bay door on the bottom left. It's the only bay door in the front we'll probably utilize just for drop-offs, so people can drop off the tires, mechanic parts, whatever. And all my inventory is right there by the office. It'll make it better for us as well because we'll be able to keep account of all the inventory and the drop-offs, what we're writing checks for, stuff like that. But I think this is it's a lot more cut and dry for a tire shop. There's no guesswork as to how we're going to run things, where we're going to move things. Hopefully it makes it a lot easier and it hits just about every mark that we were trying to hit for you guys. But that's it. That's what I got.
Yeah, any questions for Chris? Mary, go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Wagner, I
Yes, ma'am.
appreciate the upgrades that you made.
Yes,
They're
ma'am.
very nice.
Look way better.
I feel the same way that I did at your last presentation. I think we would love to have you in our community, and the problem is the location. So I think that would be a nice addition to the Saginaw economy to have you here. It's just a matter of where should you be located. I do believe there are other high traffic areas that, you would have a lot of visibility that you might be able to locate in. The problem is this is not going along with the view that we have on the overlay district. It aesthetically is an improvement, but still not what would attract the type of economic development that we're looking for in that area. I just wanted to make
Sure.
that clear and make you understand that it's nothing against your business.
Sure.
It's just the location.
I appreciate that.
Thank you, Mary. Other questions, folks?
I appreciate the changes. I mean,
Yes, sir.
100% better than it was before.
Yes. Thank you.
Valerie?
I'd like to say that what you presented there is much better than what's sitting there now. It's been there for a long time.
Yes,
It's time
ma'am.
for an upgrade on there. I think it will look a lot better there.
Thank you.
I have a question. So
Yes,
we have other tire-related shops in Saginaw. Competitively, how have you figured out the market and how that's going to work for your business? And
Well- we have competitors where we're at right now. I mean, every shop, it's hard to not find a tire shop if you drive down the road. Where we stand apart, and our Google reviews should say everything. I'm going to say we try to be honest. We don't upsell. We don't let our guys make commission. We're just trying to help the community out, because our number one thing is we're not, well, it's something my dad used to tell me, we're not here for this sale, we're here for the next sale. We're here to build our clientele. We're here to make you feel safe, so you bring your family. You feel comfortable bringing your wife to us, your mom to us, your sister. We're there to, that's where I think we are apart from a lot of companies, not to point fingers at anybody, but we fight the stigma of scummy mechanic shops, scummy tire shop. It's something that's real, but I think that we do a good job at setting ourselves apart from that. It's almost like our mission statement. It's almost our identity is we try to be as honest and dependable as possible. So I don't think that we'll have any problem fitting in. I'm pretty confident that the first customer I get, I'll get his family as well. It's just how confident I am, just with what we do. I don't think that we'll have any problem getting clientele, getting a customer base. We haven't advertised in Watauga in like 15 years or something, and it's because word of mouth. It's your reputation, if you will. I'm not afraid of that part at all. And I know there's a couple tire shops in the area, and once again, I'm not pointing fingers. I just think that there's definitely a void that we could fill for sure.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Yeah.
Council, other questions for Mr. Wagner? No? All right, thank you, sir, appreciate it.
Thank you.
I do have one person who wishes to speak. Dan, you want to come on up? Again, anybody else wants to speak on any item, you fill out one of these forms, you can speak, so. Welcome, sir.
Dan Ditforth, 240 North Hampshire. I also own 112 West Lemon. I think that's the reason I got the notice. First off, I want to say I've heard everything from the meetings. I couldn't make the last meeting. Y'all sound like a great operation, a good family operation. I think you'll make a good fit in Saginaw. The only time I've ever talked to somebody where Hams lost them as a customer is because they were so busy they couldn't get in and they had to have tires now. So my concern was a lot of it has been addressed. That's why I'm here, to find out what they decided to do. But I do believe we need to look at Lemon Street. Lemon's it's a narrow street for being an offshoot from Saginaw, Maine. When the occasional truck from CRs would park in the street, one car can pass when there's one vehicle parked in the street there. We do need to limit that parking if y'all decide to do this SUP. If we can
So
make it
you mean
either.
limit on-street parking?
Yeah,
Okay.
limit on-street parking
Gotcha.
for commercial business, or actually totally. If you just go down there with one car, I'll show you. That was my primary concern, other than the things they've taken care of already. Because all you have to do is go look at 308 South Saginaw and know what everybody's talking about when they think about a tire shop in Saginaw. That's what we don't want. How Kenneth Reynolds' store turned into that. It's a low-use mechanic shop, got turned into a tire store, and that's what we think of. And matter of fact, there's a tire rack you can't see coming out of the hat and see oncoming traffic. And I don't know why that tire rack gets to sit there. Maybe that's a DOT issue. They'll be changing tires in the shoulder of the road. That's what people are thinking of. I pulled up the street views. I've driven past their other offices. This is much better looking than what people are thinking of. We do need more mechanic shops in Saginaw. We got a lot of traffic rolling through here, a lot of people moving north of us. So if I'm not opposed to them being here, it's all great. The changes are good. I really want to look at, how's it going to affect the neighborhood behind it and the passage and the safety of people being able to get into and out of that neighborhood. That's what I'm really concerned about now. I think they've addressed everything else. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dan. That question, I don't know who can answer this question. So parking on Lemon, what is it now? Do we need to change anything? Is it prohibited on Lemon now for commercial? Somebody explain that to me, what our ordinances say, and I'm looking around there, I'm not sure who I'm asking.
I think just in regards, I'm sure, there's a different PD aspect of it, but y'all did pass the off-street parking, so unless they get an SUP for it, it should not be allowed.
Okay, that's what I was hoping the answer was, but I wasn't sure. Okay.
That's the zoning answer.
Mayor, Mayor and
Yes,
Council,
Gabe.
I'm not sure, might defer to Doug, I'm not sure where the traffic could go realistically in this area.
Yeah, be very limited where they can park with the openings and close to the corner. So if you're worried about that for this business, I would just put in your SUP that they cannot park on the street. And any other vehicles would be the residents there, most likely, no commercial vehicles from this business being there. But it's a limited space with where they can park
Okay.
with what they're gonna do.
Susan, could we add that to that list as well?
I'm sorry, no,
No street parking?
yes, I will say it's implied unless they have that SCP, but if y'all don't want them to ever be able to get that SCP, that may be a thing.
Bryn, what's your feedback?
So we would have to address traffic with a separate ordinance. The SUP and the zoning applies only to the property owned by the applicant.
Okay. So we can't add anything parking-wise, street parking-wise to this SUP?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. It's, off-street. I'm sorry, on-street, not, but you can address parking on the property.
On the property, but not on the street?
Not on the street, correct.
Gotcha. Thank you, Bryn.
Yes, but just as a reminder, we do have the off-street parking ordinance, so unless y'all allow them to have an SUP to allow that off-street parking, then it would not be permissible.
Okay. So as it currently states, I'm trying to make sure this is clear to everybody. As
Yes.
it currently says, you cannot park commercially on that street?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
That was the answer I was hoping I was looking for.
Yes.
Thank you.
I previously stated that we had an Exhibit A and B. I just want to state that Exhibit A would be that new proposal image on the top right corner, and then, or this one actually. And then Exhibit B would be this. I don't know if y'all had a preference or if y'all think both are beautiful, so, but one of these would be Exhibit B.
Gotcha. Council feedback on this? Paul? Start in there.
Either or.
I'm good with either sign. I mean, it's.
Okay. Nick? Valerie?
That's what I was thinking, the left one's prettier.
Sean?
Left
Mary?
one.
Go ahead, Mary.
I just wanted to emphasize again, yes, this is an improvement over what's there now, but anything would be. And I'm just trying to make sure that we are very, make it very, put a lot of thought into what we accept in this area. I think it would limit the flexibility of allowing, other uses that we're looking for to actually want to come to the overlay district. I think it would limit interest in the type of development that we are looking for there.
Thank you, Mary.
The last thing that I wanted to put on the record is just when it comes to the landscaping portion and the parking, these exhibits will not be included in the SUP. These things will be assessed during the civil plan process, so they are subject to change. They do have to abide by our codes and regulations, so I just want to make that be known that this is just for example. They will be having to comply with our code.
Gotcha. That's not part of the SUP, is it?
Yes, sir, it's not part of the
Thank
SUP.
you. Thanks for clarifying. Council, other questions for Susie? Any clarifying questions for Susie?
I just wanted to make sure
Go
that
ahead.
you got the notes that, to remove the portion that says except radiator
Yes.
repair and the oil change, all that.
Yes, sir. So for number 4, I will be
Section.
removing everything after except. So that was, and I'm sorry, I misunderstood that. So the radiator repair, replacement, transmission, and the routine oil change services. And it'll just state automotive services shall not include fluid-related services if you'll decide to vote.
Period. Okay.
Was there anything else that y'all would have liked to see within this proposal, just from our standpoint, or are these 8 sufficient?
Council, feedback, council? Everybody good with what's on here? Okay.
On 4, you just take out the word accept. and
Yes.
Okay.
that's it.
Period. Yeah. Okay. All right, thank you, Susan. All right, council, any other questions, comments? If not, then I will entertain a motion.
Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the SUP with the revisions that we added or whatever, for the special use permit on the auto service station as presented.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Sean, second. Please cast your votes. That's 3-3. Hilarious. Okay, I forgot we only have 6 tonight, so. We're at a tie. Brand, what does that mean?
That means it failed.
That's what I thought. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Should we recommend that it be brought back to give the other council member time?
We've already voted, so I think we are where we are. I think, again, I would say to the applicant that we would love to have you in Saginaw. Location-wise is our only question. I like your changes you make, and I appreciate the flexibility, but I think the location-wise is our biggest concern, by the overlay, so. All right, we are moving on. Thank you, folks. 4B, discuss and consider adoption of Resolution 2026-08 of the City Council of Saginaw, Texas, directing publication and notice of intention to issue combination tax and revenue certificates of obligation and resolving other matters relating to the subject. Andrew Friedman, Samco. Welcome, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. Andrew Friedman with Samco Capital Markets, the city's financial advisor. Before you all this evening is a notice of intention resolution for the issuance of certificates of obligation. As a reminder for you all, and I think you've got a couple of pieces of information in your agenda packet, one being the timetable, the other being financial analysis. This is the first legal step for the city to issue certificates of obligation. And so with your approval this evening, that notice of intention resolution will get published on the city's website and in your paper for 2 consecutive weeks. That notice of intention states the maximum amount to be borrowed. It states the purposes for which the CO proceeds can be spent, as well as the council meeting date that you all would act on the sale of those obligations. So you're not selling those obligations or committing the city to issue this debt right now. That will come at your regular meeting on August 4th of 2026. The reason we're taking this action now, one, it's a legal requirement to allow for that publication, but we want to receive certified values from Tarrant Appraisal District as you all are working through the budget in order to specifically target the desired INS tax rate to support these certificates of obligation. So that will allow us to have those certified values. I'll work with Ms. Quinn on your truth in taxation to make sure when we sell the bonds, or the bonds and the COs, and we'll get to that next, that we're getting to the exact INS tax rate that the city needs. Should those sale results come in favorably and you all approve the sale at your August 4th meeting, those COs would close on September 2nd to be spent toward the projects, which include a new fire truck improvements to fire department, as well as an animal services facility. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions that you all have. And if I've left out any details, I'm certainly happy to circle back on that.
Questions for Andrew? My question would be, and you can't answer that directly, but idea of interest rate we would get at this point?
Right now, and we've been, the bond market had gone higher. We've got a lot of, geopolitical risk out there over, the last month or so. Over the last week, we've actually seen the 10-year Treasury bond coming down in rate. So we've seen interest rates coming back down. A long-winded way of saying if we were to price right now, we'd be right around 4% to 4.15%. Certainly, we remain hopeful that interest rates will come down, but we're only ever, one tweet, one headline away from a pretty volatile market. So we'll just have to stay tuned and hope for the best.
I will not hold you to that. I just wanted an idea.
No, it's a very fair question.
Yeah. Other questions for Andrew? So again, this is to kick off the process, and we will finalize later. So if no other questions, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, I make a motion, we approve item 4B.
Nick, second. Please cast your votes. Motion passes. Thank you, Andrew.
You're very
Look forward to working with you in the near future.
Absolutely.
All right, so we're at 4C, consideration action regarding authorization of the sale of 4.55. So this is step 2? I didn't know we had to do this twice, but okay. Kim, can you explain this to us?
So the motion you just made was for certificates of obligation. This one is to start issuing the bonds that were just approved, the 2025 bonds. So this would be for engineering and or design of the animal shelter, and then engineering for McElroy Phase
East McElroy.
2B.
East McElroy 2B, okay.
Yes, sir.
So Andrew again.
So this process for issuing the bonds, which were approved by the voters this past May, is going to run concurrently with the issuance of those COs. We do that, one, to meet the same timing constraints relative to the appraised values and targeting the tax rate. You're not required to take any formal action ahead of the sale because these were authorized by the voters, but we want to sell these together, so we'll price them on the same day. These will be competitive sales, so we'll receive bids on the COs at 10 a.m., bids on the bonds at 11 a.m., bring them both to you for your approval on that August 4th deadline. This allows us to sell the bonds together, save a little bit of cost of issuance, go into the rating agency one time, sell them together in a single offering document. So just running these together, again, to take a burden off of your budgeting process and the number of council meetings you all are acting on, and again, to target that tax rate.
Excellent, okay. Questions for Andrew on this one?
Mayor?
Yes.
I just want to make one point. I know we talked about this in some of our bond meetings. So the majority of East McElroy is within the boundaries of the TERS. That was set up by design. The TERS fund is accruing increment, new value, as property builds and develops within the TERS boundaries. It has been our long-range plan to use TERS money to buy down the tax rate impact. So it'll look like a swap, but I just want to sort of make that clear. So when we did our bond informational meetings, we always show kind of the worst case scenario. The reality is we'll use TERS money for East McElroy as much as we can. And like I said, within the TERS boundaries, that's really where most of our growth is right now in the city.
Right. No, great. Thanks for that reminder, Gabe. I appreciate that. And there's other funding opportunities as well, but worst case, this is where we are. We may get some relief on that, but so that's very positive. And again, we would not do any of these projects if the voters had said no. So if the voters said yes, allowing us to do this, that's why. And this will have a tax rate impact, as we had mentioned. So, other questions for Andrew on this one? All right, thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
So on 4C, I will entertain a motion.
Mayor,
Thank you, sir. Second? Mary, second? Okay. Motion passes. Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate your help. Look forward to working with you.
We'll see you in August.
There you go. All right. 4D, consideration action regarding the purchase of a new aerial ladder truck. Fire Chief Doug Spears.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I again find myself in the unenviable position of requesting one of the more costlier purchases, single piece of equipment purchases our city makes, and indeed most cities make it. That's for an aerial apparatus. We initiated and completed a detailed specification and cost process with 2 reputable vendors in the area, and tonight we bring that before you to purchase an aerial ladder truck. There's been several discussions and a lot of information distributed, so maybe the most effective way is for me to just answer questions or hear any concerns that you might have.
Okay, council questions for Chief Spears?
I've got one. It's got 30 to 31 months delivery. Is that, do we have a penalty clause or anything on that?
We've talked about that extensively, very confident in that delivery rate. We're going to get on a different manufacturing line because we scaled the customization of the truck down to fit into that. So that should hold. I couldn't say with 100% certainty, but 95 or greater.
Okay.
What, because it's gone down a little bit. It was, I mean, we talked this a year ago, it was on nearly 4 years, right?
Yeah, when I first started approaching the vendors and all that, their estimate to get a like apparatus to what we currently have was about 2.2 million. We did a good exercise with them and made them sharpen their pencil, but we made some changes in our apparatus to make sure we're only getting exactly what we need. A quality apparatus that meets our needs, but scaled down to what we could do. So it's down a little bit cheaper than what I probably initially mentioned to you.
And also, the delivery time is down as well.
Yes, sir.
The delivery time, I thought, was 4 years and
48 months is what this particular vendor said. The other one was a little bit faster, but they're under a lot of pressure and scrutiny, obviously from fire chiefs and indeed the federal government to to do whatever they can to get the delivery time down, and they're doing that.
Other questions for Chief Spears?
Yeah, this is the truck that we were talking about that has the rear steering.
Yes, sir.
And can you talk a little bit about that and what the benefit is to our city for having that?
Sure. So this particular manufacturer offers a rear steer. It's pretty common in military vehicles. It's a little bit more robust rear end than what we currently have. Obviously, a ladder truck's pretty hard to get around in a municipal setting. They're tandem axle just from the weight that we have to have. So this offers us better maneuverability. It handles rougher roads better. Where the turning of we go through a lot of tires because dragging the tandem axle around the tire scrub. So this prevents that from happening. Essentially, it's about a $60,000 option on the fire truck, but over the life of the truck, it's probably going to save us that much. Obviously, the tires for fire trucks or any semi, they're pretty expensive.
Yeah, my question is, how expensive is a tire, a tire for one of these? I have no idea.
They're over $1,000 a piece generally for the fire trucks, so it's pretty substantial.
Gotcha.
So how does that actually work? Is it,
Nick, can you get closer so we can hear you?
I need turned on. How does that actually, now you've quick mentored, how does that actually work? Is it computer controlled like all-wheel drive, or is somebody having?
It's an automated function, so I'm assuming it's electric to do that. And one of my questions I asked, if we have anything we add to the fire truck that's additional, if it breaks, what does that look like, right?
That's what I was gonna ask.
So if we have a problem with that, there's ability to lock it in so it acts just like a regular tandem axle truck.
Okay.
So it wouldn't take the truck out of service for that. But this is something that's been around for a little while. We were hesitant about looking at it, but doing some inquiries and all that, it's perfected. So there's very few issues with it, and the positives outweigh any negatives, concerns.
I did some question asking last week, and because when they first came out with it, there were a bunch of problems with it, but they've gone to it's more of a hydraulic versus electronic now, and there hasn't been any issues whatsoever.
I mean, considering.
As some of these neighborhoods that are coming in, they're tighter streets, a lot more people parking in the roadways and all this, so this offers a little bit better maneuverability than what we have today.
So, I mean, this truck's mainly for our industrial area, right? I mean, that's why you.
It is our educational facilities, apartment complexes, and oddly enough, it does perform in a residential setting. If we have an attic fire in a particular house to protect the exposures, that thing gets set up and sprays water to make sure we don't get on another residence. So it's used even in that setting, but we have a lot of industry in our city. There's no way we could operate without a ladder truck. But I want to be clear, it's more for the horizontal reach than it is the vertical. Everybody says, well, it's so tall, but it's really vertical to get out over a building or get water where you need it.
Other questions for Chief?
So with that, we selected the manufacturer. That's the recommendation. I put it in there going with Pierce. Our plan is to prepay for the apparatus. That garners us a pretty significant discount. That's what we've done on the last, I think, 3 or 4 purchases, maybe more than that, to garner us the biggest discount on the price of the truck.
Yeah, how much are we saving doing purchasing up front, you know?
It is, I do have it in the document. So
I
for
don't
this
recall.
particular one, $180,000.
Okay, nice. Yes, Mary, go ahead.
I just wanted to say for anybody who's watching this and the few people in the audience, how impressed I am with the fire department, their process of maintaining the equipment and having such a distinct process of how to use the other one on call and, just making sure that they have the kind of equipment that they need to keep us all safe. And I really appreciate that.
Thank you. That was instilled in our department even before I came, and we just maintained that throughout and improved it where we could. So there's a lot of people responsible for that.
Other questions for Chief Spears? Nothing else, then I will entertain a motion.
Mayor, I make a motion we approve 4D, purchase of a new aerial truck.
Okay. Valerie, second. Please cast your votes. Motion passes. All right, good luck to you. Let's make it happen.
Thank you. I know it's a big decision, so appreciate that very
We
much.
appreciate that. We are glad, appreciate all your homework. Our moving to 4E, I think Valerie's going to take her leave. Thank you, ma'am. We'll catch up with you in a few minutes. All right, so 4E update, Saginaw Old Fire Station Project, Mad Concepts. Welcome, folks. Thanks for coming in. Come on up.
Hi, Mr. Mayor and Council. It's Carter Wilson and Cameron Hayes.
Good.
We're happy to be here, happy to have an opportunity to update you on the progress, kind of get everyone caught up to speed and let you know how excited we are.
Will you make sure you talk in the microphone? It's hard to hear at home if
Oh,
you're
I'm
not.
sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
We're excited to be here. We're excited about the project. And we're excited to get you all up to speed and explain kind of all that's gone into getting us to where we are today. This is actually more Cameron's field of expertise than my own, so I will let him go through the presentation with you, and then we can answer questions and follow up.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for the time. As Carter said, this is to serve as a true update with where we're at, and I want to ensure you guys that we are very, very close. So where we stand right now is that our design, engineering, construction plans are, I would say, 95% complete right now. From a high-level perspective, like I said, all of the disciplines are about complete. We've finalized interior finishes, furnishings, design packages across the board. So not only are we going to put up walls, we can also put the furniture in and kind of move as smoothly as possible. So with those updates you see there, our goal is to get a few more approvals that we've been working closely with city staff to get done. And once those are done, we'll be able to close on our loan and get shovels in the dirt. So just to give you guys a little bit of a background and more context on where we've landed, this is our site plan. If you remember previously, we had the drive-through idea that neither party liked, and we've converted to that big Jake's Yard area that you guys are familiar with from Aledo or recently opened Benbrook. And then we have the meat market and our split rail Texas Grill. Split rail will have a covered patio, which is like the sleeping quarters currently, where it'll be partially covered but open up so we can put fresh trees in there and give it a little bit more of an outdoor elevated feel. And then we'll also have enhanced landscaping throughout. And one of the big items is we will not be changing any of the existing driveways as shown. And you'll see later in the presentation, we are waiting on TxDOT approval or written notice. And I got that while I was sitting here, which has been forwarded to Susie and Pedro, which will allow us to get our civil permit, which is one step closer. You've seen these elevations. They remain the same mostly. That bottom right picture, which is the south view, that will change just because of the enclosed patio now. It's about the same feel. That'll be a pickup window for to-go drinks if you're in the yard or anything like that, but just want to let you know that there is a few minor visual differences than what you see. Here is the interior space plan for Jake's. So you have the bottom left corner. That is where the kitchen and all the magic happens. And out to the right, you can see booth seating and that central bar, kind of where the thicker dotted lines are. That'll allow for interior bar seating and then a big roll-up window where you can sit on the covered patio and sit at the bar as well, with booth seating and kind of different sections to create different feels, whether you want to be with your family on a date, anything like that. Here are some of the design elements. We have, I would say, 150 pages of slides just like this, so I try to pick the highlights.
And we appreciate that.
Yeah, I didn't want to be here all night, but yeah, as you can see, this is definitely one from our perspective. This will be the latest and greatest design of Jake's as well. We've really gone far, and even with our Benbrook location that opened, this will be further enhanced and kind of a higher decor feel for future locations, specifically Saginaw. So you guys are definitely going to have the latest and greatest. Some of the booth design. And then here, this is specifically for the covered patio area. A little rustic but modern is how I would describe it. And this theme would continue throughout the yard area, obviously waterproofed and more lounging options, as well as yard games, the big TV board, etc., to allow for an area for kids to run around and also the parents to chill and have a nice Saturday or Sunday.
Isn't that like, is that artificial turf, if I recall?
Correct.
Okay, that's-
Correct. All artificial, very high-end, like almost a sports field type, not as squishy, but great for drainage, and it'll be sprinkled and everything, with also like trees sprinkled throughout with landscaping as well. This is the split rail and meat market space plan. So on the left side, as we know, that's the sleeping quarters existing, and we'll move towards the other side of the building. But that partially covered patio with the bar seating that will replicate higher finish out than Jake's in terms of feel and product, but be able to sit inside or outside with roll-up doors. The large seating area in the middle, and then on the top of the picture, that's where there'll kind of be an elevated seating area, just to, again, break up those rooms, allow for private events. And actually on that, the bottom left side where you see those 6 tables, that's also a private dining room specifically, if you want to rent it out for birthdays, retirements, celebrations, anything. Another kind of cool update that we've changed a little bit is on this covered or uncovered entrance. It will be, basically we're going to be recessing where the garage doors are now, and that will be an extremely elevated experience, even if you're waiting for your table with fire pits and everything like that. So it's not, you're sitting on a bench and waiting for an hour. You'll have lounging chairs and live music and all of that to go on when we are busy, not if. And then again, on the right is the meat market as well.
Sean, you.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, so that covered entrance, is that facing the boulevard?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yes, this is, you're standing in the existing parking lot looking towards the boulevard. Here are a couple of the design elements. Again, we have a ton of pages, and they're just the highlights. That top picture will be your front entrance. The patio seating that I mentioned, this will be a combination of that, the covered patio as well as the front entrance for waiting. And then this main dining area, that's that elevated area like I talked about. And you can see some of the patio decor, the open kitchen design. So the grids, that's to show that it's open. You'll be able to see back into the kitchen. And then there's the view from the indoor bar, and that gray behind it, behind the bar, is the view to the outside where you'll be able to sit as well and look inside. So again, this is to give you guys an update on where we stand. You know, it's taken some time to get here, but we're fully committed and very close to the finish line to be able to get all the approvals, which will allow us to close with the bank and get started. So number 1 would be the civil permit issuance, which I just talked about. We got the TxDOT approval, so we should be able to get our civil. Following that would be the final drawings and building permit. We have a few revisions just to make sure we have everything specified how we'd like. Those are submitted in mid-May, and we expect to have them back June 15th from our consultants. And with that, we'll be able to submit for a building permit. Third, and kind of most important, that we've been working directly with the city. We had a meeting on Monday with Susie and Pedro to wrap it up, but it is approval of the PD, the plan development. We're very close on that. It shows the overall theme. It's not very detail-oriented, and I think we're all in agreement of what the general theme is, so it's just hashing out a few details. And yeah, once we get that done, that is when the bank will be ready to fund and close, and with that, construction commences.
You're missing one. When am I going to be able to get a steak?
Good question.
That's a great question. We're almost there. Exactly. With the civil coming through, and hopefully with the conversation we had Monday, I would be confident to say construction starts July.
And would complete approximately, I won't hold you to it, but I'm curious. You looking 9 months, 12 months? What do you think?
I would think 9 months, a March to April opening.
Roughly?
Mhm.
Again, I won't hold you. I'm just, we're
Yep.
very excited and
I
curious.
think it's very confident prediction.
All right, I have a question for staff. There's no council action required for any more of this, correct?
That is correct. Y'all approved the PD conditional to, I forgot the exact verbiage, but it's It's on,
Right, so staff can handle the rest of the step. Council does
Correct.
not, doesn't need to come back to council. I just want to make sure we're clear on that.
Unless y'all
Again,
want
for
to see it,
expediency.
but
So
I wanna-
I don't want us to hold anything up.
We are ready to go. Any other questions?
Comment, thank you guys for coming out. We've been getting beat up a little bit on social media, you know, is this happening, is it falling through and everything? So, we're happy to have you guys here and let everybody out there see that this is moving forward.
Well, and let me just say one more thing. Please understand that we're very thorough and we do a lot of work on the front end. As soon as we hit the construction date, it's gonna go really fast. And we did it in Benbrook, we're doing it in North Richland Hills, and we're gonna do it here. So everything will be, it's ready to light on fire and go. So we appreciate your patience. We're all in. We're gonna be great
Good,
partners and
good.
everyone's gonna be thrilled about it. Promise.
Since we're not breaking ground, are we gonna swing sledgehammers or anything like that?
That's an interesting idea. I kinda like that.
Anything to make it happen and make it a splash. We want y'all to succeed and be wildly successful. So anything the city can do to help that happen publicity-wise, we're all in.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, as
And,
always.
and again, the talk coming in and being impatient, it's me that's been impatient. So we're eager for this to happen.
No, we totally understand. Happy to be here anytime.
Mr. Mayor, I just want to add.
Yes, Mary, go ahead.
I was just wondering, I know we've talked about, we think this might be a destination, you know, which would be great for our city. In your other locations, do you have any way of getting data to know how many people are from outside of the actual city?
Yep. Yeah, so we have software that allows us to track customer data. It takes about 3 months to build up, to have a big enough sample size for them to, use the algorithm and blah, 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 blah. But within 3 months, we'll have a good show of where the customers are coming from, and especially, household incomes, et cetera. So just as a reference point, Alito, we have 50% of our customers coming from over 10 miles. And what we've seen in Benbrook as well is that looks to be about the same. So you are pulling new people in, new dollars into your city with our developments.
Exciting. Yeah, good question. Council, other questions for these folks?
I'm excited.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I'd like
Appreciate you coming in.
to thank city staff as well. They've been very
No.
great to deal with.
Great, we appreciate it. We look forward to it.
Thank
Let's
you.
make it happen.
Have a great evening.
All right, so that ends our regular meeting. So pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.071, Texas Government Code consultation with attorney, at 7:22, we're in executive session. We will return to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Valerie?
I'll second.
Sean, second. Please cast your votes. Motion passes at 8:03. We're adjourned. Thank y'all.